It's Wednesday, which means it's time for a favorite find, and this week's favorite find comes to us from Dennis Wynne, who is a pretty well-known long-time metal detectorist. Now, he found a belt buckle. We all find belt buckles from time to time, which is really weird because you think that, like, did someone's pants just fall off and they just lost their belt buckle? You know, how does it? It's a kind of a weird thing to lose, right? But it happens a lot, frequently. Belt buckles are common finds in metal detecting. Anyway, this particular belt buckle, at first glance, looks like something you see like in a, I don't know, like a record shop or kind of like a vintage store or hip place. It doesn't really look super old, but as it turns out, it's a 19th century belt buckle for the Fraternal Order of the Knights Templar. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because a lot of times you'll hear Knights Templar and you think of like the European Knights Templar that went on the Crusades. No, it's an ascendant fraternal organization that is a member of the York Rite of Freemasonry. So I got into this. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, and I'm not going to explain it very well, but I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. In Freemasonry, once you become a master mason, I think, you kind of have like, you can choose paths to further your study. Now there's the Scottish Rite and there's the York Rite. I think in the Scottish Rite you don't have to be necessarily Christian, but in the York Rite you have to be Christian. That's one of the requirements for that. I don't think one is better than the other. They're just kind of different paths you can take in the path of Freemasonry. The Knights Templar in Texas start becoming real popular around 1855 or so. They start out, they have what are called Commanderies. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am. But there's 6 of them. And the 6th one is Dallas. Now, I know that this was found in the DFW area, so there's a good chance that that's where this particular buckle was associated with, which is the 6th Commandery. And if you know more about this or are a member of the local Knights Templar organization, comment down below and let me know, because I don't want to say that it's hard to get information, but I feel like it's hard to get the right information because the internet is flooded with lots of information. So it's very hard to tell what's right and what isn't right. So I'm only discussing what I think is factual based on the observations I've made. Okay, so, you know, don't crucify me over this. It would be easy to do. But anyway, this particular belt buckle, from what I've seen, could be post 1870s, I think. So the earlier ones I've seen tend to have like a smaller cross on them, and then the later 1800 ones tend to have a larger cross. Really cool find, hell of a find. If I were to find it, my first thought wouldn't be that it was super old, though, because this particular design of belt buckle lasted for a very long time. And after further examination of the pictures, this could actually be like a buckle from a sword belt, which is part of the costume that they would wear. So anyway, in Texas, the Knights Templar organization was real popular from like 1855 to right about the Civil War. During the Civil War, it goes downhill. I mean, there's just not a lot of people being real active in fraternal organizations. After the Civil War, it starts to come back. And by 1870, it's a pretty big deal. You start seeing, I think right after 1870, there becomes a 7th Commandery, which is, I think, is San Antonio. So the organization starts growing again. It is still in organization today. So if you're a Freemason and you choose the York Rite path, you can still become a Knights Templar. So if that's something that's like interests you, feel free to Google it, because you can actively participate. And one thing I would like to clarify, I do not believe that the Freemasons are a secret society who are secretly controlling everything. I think generally they're just a fraternal organization that generally does good stuff and supports a lot of charities and basically tries to do good. I will go ahead and say I am not out to vilify any secret fraternal organizations. I would also like to thank Dennis Wynne for sending this in, because it's a great find, and I know him. He's in clubs with me. He's a good detectorist. He also has a bobcat for a pet. Another interesting character in the world of metal detecting. I should sit down with him and interview him sometime, because he's very interesting. He also writes articles for Focus Speed. If you guys have ever checked out focusspeed.com, it's a great resource for metal detectorists. Check it out. I know that the history presented in this particular video is probably not as in-depth as I would like it to be, but there's so much. So I'm just really trying to give you a simplified answer. Now, the one thing that I didn't know is that the Scottish Rite and the York Rite were like two paths down a similar road. I guess it's like, Robert Frost's poem, I came to a fork in the road. But I prefer Yogi Berra's take on forks in the road. And that is, if you come to a fork in the road, take it. It's a good one. I like that one a lot. So thank you again, Dennis. I appreciate it. Let's see. Also, check out focusspeed.com. Great stuff there. You can find out about metal detecting clubs. You can find out about hunts that are happening. Interesting articles about the hobby. Also, you realize how niche this hobby really is. I kind of knew, but I didn't really know. I really know now. We're a tiny group of people, and this is something we're passionate about. And I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad you're a part of it. If you're interested in it, I think I'm going to do a series here soon on, so you're a beginner in metal detecting, and then we'll kind of go from there. And I think that's important, because I see the same questions asked all the time. So hopefully I'll be able to help with some of those here soon. But anyway, if you've been interested in getting into this hobby, you'd like to find a belt buckle like Dennis found, maybe check out detectorwarehouse.com. See some of their deals. Feel free to scan and it'll take you right there, and you can buy something. It helps the channel, and you can use the link detectorwarehouse.com/I-get-that-treasure. Or if they ask, they say, do you got a code? Just say get that treasure. I always say that anyway. If you see someone digging, say get that treasure, right? I'll see you guys Friday with a walk and talk. We'll get a little more in depth on things that are happening and new developments. There's always something new happening. And I'll probably rant and yell and complain about some stuff, which is what I normally do. So if you like to hear complaints, it's always a good place for that. Also, I hope you guys checked out the recent video of what it's like to go to a Golden Triangle meeting. I love that club. I love it to death. And speaking of clubs, though, this Friday, Cowtown also got a video of that club. Might want to check that out. If you made it this far, feel free to like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. But also, if you'd like stickers or any other swag that I may have at the time, or you'd like to submit a favorite find for me to show on Wednesdays, just send it to me at igethattreasure@gmail.com, and I'll show it. Dennis actually sent this to me a while ago, and I'm just now getting around to it because, well, I'm slack. I'm sorry, Dennis, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So if you get out this week, I hope you get that treasure, and thank you so much for watching.